My first lessons on sex are like tie her up, spank her, bend her over, and bang her. Okay. I remember as soon as I turned 14, my mom and stepdad were like, here's the paperwork. Get a work permit. And then I got a job. So my birthday's in the middle of winter, or the beginning of winter, but in Oregon it's like the middle. And I think I had a job, so I think it was the following summer that I actually got a job. And that job was working at a video rental store called Royal Video. And I worked there for, I think, about a year and a half. I don't remember how long I worked there, but I worked there for $3.30 an hour. And I remember I got a 5 cents an hour raise at one point, and I made $3.35 an hour. So this was the 80s, and when I first started working there, we would write everything down on paper on these cards, rental agreement cards. And that would then go into this file if it had a movie out, and this other file if it didn't. And so during the time that I worked there, they bought, I don't know if it was top of the line or not. I mean, it probably was just a standard something back then, but one of the first waves of computers that were actually set up to do stuff back then. And I think customer charting and all this kind of stuff was kind of big, and this program maybe did some, but I seem to remember being an actual, specifically the video rental program. So the computer system itself might have been like, had more function or something, but the program. So there was this huge process of converting every customer into the system and converting every movie into the system. You're populating all the customers into the system and populating all the movies into the system. And this was a huge task. And that was like the biggest, other than the girlfriend that I hooked up with. But that's, well, I guess I might as well just tell the whole story of Royal Video. So it was like a building that had, like, initially when I started, it was a furniture store with a little video rental in the back. And then it converted over to the front, and so they switched. The furniture went to the back and the video went to the front and expanded. And the business isn't even there anymore at all. Where certain video stores in Portland are still there. Certain niche. It was like a husband and a wife, and they had like a freaking ton of kids, like maybe like 7 kids or some shit, right? And that owned this video store. Well, the wife was the video store, the husband was the furniture. I mean, it was all him, but then the wife like did this little thing on the side. It was actually kicking out of his thing. So I went whitewater rafting with him. Now he took like maybe somebody else from the video store, but I think it was mainly his kids. on a whitewater rafting trip to the upper Clackamas, which we have this Clackamas River. There's an upper part and there's a lower part. The upper part is super fun, one of my favorite things to do. I have an inflatable kayak. It's super fun. I haven't done it in a while though, just because of this whole long story with this old house I just sold. It's sucking all my time and money, so I really didn't have time to do anything. But anyway, we went on this whitewater rafting trip, right? And it was in the spring, where you had to wear wetsuits, totally geared up for cold water, and it was crazy. I mean, huge rapids. I'll never forget this. The dad's there rowing, and we're going into like the big crazy rapid, and he drops the oar and pops out of his hand, pops out of the thing, and it's out in the water. And I just freaking whap, grabbed it, slapped it back in the freaking thing, and held it until he grabbed it. And he was just looking at me like, holy cow, where did that come from? The little fat kid just made it happen. And, well, I wasn't little though, I was tall. But I was a little kid. I was a kid that was like 14 or 15 years old, so I was a teenager, so I was not little. Okay, so how about the fat kid? Because I was a fat kid. I mean, I wasn't like, what do they call that? I wasn't morbidly obese, but I was definitely way chunkier than I would be happy to have been. So there was people that worked there. Yeah, like his kids worked there. He had a grip of kids, so it was like, yeah, some friends of me, some friends of the family, this older lady that like worked there like in the afternoons or something, or in the daytime shift, the wife, and then there was the girl whose name was like a bird's name, kinda. And so this video store actually rented pornos, right? So I was 14, and here's this porno section that's like, I mean, we're talking double anal level porn, like double anal in the 80s, like WTF. That's just on the box cover, man. So 14-year-old with unlimited access to porn, and but I couldn't rent it legitimately, so I would just borrow it. This would become my demise at the job because of timing of borrowing videos and then forgetting to bring them back promptly, and then other people having them like on reservation, and then like, oh, where's this video? Oops. Yeah, so I never stole any videos from there, but I did borrow quite a few, and I had quite a few on loan after the last time, after I got fired. So the girl in there that was the 19-year-old, we call with the bird name, porno blah blah, was her nickname, and she had freaking ginormous boobs, and was, you know, cute still, but she had like an older boyfriend though that lived with her and her mom. And this guy was one of those dudes that just had acne, like bad. And he was like 24 maybe or something. Man, I used to just be in there and looking at her and just like, damn, this chick's so hot. So I lived on the houseboat mortgage, And the person that was like my big brother, buddy, best friend type person was this like 30-something-year-old dude that had got me in all that trouble with the tequila incident. And but I just ended up hanging out with him more and more anyway, building RC cars and all this shit, and water ski team stuff. He had this, actually the other guy had this boat, but he never used it, so dude just uses it all the time. And it was like, that was the thing, like riding around in that boat, which was a mastercraft. I would be hanging out with the dude and down in the boats all the time. And during the summers, I mean, that was just like every day, day in and day out. So one day I go, hey, you want to come out on the boat with us, right? She's like, yeah. She was 19 and I think I was 15. So, God, she was so hot. It was unbelievable. Anyway, we go boating, and it was dude's number one slime ball buddy, and her and me, and these dudes were drinking all the time. I mean, they literally never stopped drinking hard alcohol, just daily. Well, and it was just there, like, you know, they wouldn't give you alcohol, they wouldn't give us alcohol, but like I could just go in and just grab alcohol and just drink it. But I'll tell you how to do it. You know, if you go, hey, can I? No. How old are you? No. We'd spend the afternoon out on the boat drinking. And I mean, just getting annihilated. And apparently her and I had sex, or did some kind of sex things. I don't really remember much at all. Blacked out drunk at 15. Getting with a 19-year-old. So we worked together at the video store. So then, like, the next time we worked together, she goes and said, and we just working the shift, and I'm just working, and she goes, like hours go by, and I'm just like, you know, I don't really remember anything at that point, because it hasn't been that long. I just remember we got super drunk. But, you know, I was talking to her like, hey, how you doing, you know, whatever. You know, and she's like, how long are you going to act like nothing happened? And I said, I don't remember a thing. What happened? And she started laughing. And she says, well, we're going to have to do it again then if you don't remember. So, she used to sneak down to my house. She had a car. She had a little Rabbit. She'd drive from her house in Milwaukee down to my houseboat in Selwood. Come down. Now, our houseboat was set up like this, like a big, like, rectangle, right? And so you came in the back door, and then there was my bedroom, and then the bathroom, and then utility, and then the living area, and then upstairs, and on the front part was my mother at this time. And so she'd come in there, and so this girl was having me tie her up and spank her, and her doggy style. And it was like, that was my first lessons on sex, and my first lessons on sex are like tie her up, spank her, bend her over, and bang her. Okay. So that's what we did for, I don't remember how long. She would come over every once in a while, whatever. I think we'd do stuff at the video store too, kind of like fuck around with each other or whatever. And this is all while she had a boyfriend that lived at her house. So one night she came down to hang out at dude's house with me, and which, you know, I had done a few times. You know, that's how it all started, was with dude on the boat. So, you know, so this night in question, she comes in, makes herself a drink, starts drinking, and we're hanging out, smoking weed, and I had to use the bathroom. I had to go take, and I went to take, and when I came out, dude and Porno Birdie were in the living room, and I was just like, oh, and it was kind of round over the corner, and I was just like, that was my girlfriend. What? Ah, well, I'm gonna smoke all his weed and drink his booze. And so I started getting up, and then they're all like, come over, come over. And for the next 11 hours, we tag teamed Porno Birdie like she was a porn star. I mean, 11 hours. And in this time, tied her up, spanked her, like all the normal shit we were always doing. So I, at the time, see, now I've jumped way ahead now. Like, I'm already dropped out of high school. Is that right? Yes, it is. Because I basically was done with the Rex Putnam High School after like a couple weeks into the junior. So like I made all freshman, all sophomore, and then I was going to Portland Public, and then I started going to Clackamas Community College to get my like a better than GED type of GED thing. And so I was in that mode. So, man, I don't even know. I might have had that job like a couple years, over 2.5, maybe 2.5 years or something like that. But I remember this timing because I had to go to school. And so I got up in the morning. I didn't get up in the morning. I was up. I went home and snuck in, and then my mom gave me a ride out to Clackamas Community College, and I went into the college and went right back around and got on a TriMet and came right back to the houseboat. And Porno Birdie was gone, and dude was passed out in the chair. And I showed up and I'm like, hey, where's Polly? What'd she say when she left or whatever, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. He was just trash, right? So the day goes by. I normally call her or whatever. And I call her and she's not answering. And I call her and she's not answering. And then, like, I call to get my schedule. And they tell me, like, I gotta come pick up my last paycheck. And I'm not on the schedule anymore. I.e., I got fired. And I'm just like, what's going on? Porno Birdie is not returning my calls. I got fired. What the hell? So, about a week goes by, and I'm hanging out at dude's house. And some people knock on the door, get up, and it's two detectives. And they immediately, one went with, one took me over in the living room, or one talked to him, one talked to me. They asked us all these questions. We told them everything, and then they went and talked for a second. And then they came back and they said, well, it sounds like a good time went. Don't ever call her again. It was like, what the hell just happened? And I didn't even, well, basically, like, what they said beyond that was something to the effect of, she came home in the morning after being out all night, smelling of booze, and then her mom, like, inspected her, found handprints on her ass, rope marks on her wrists, and called the police. And then the story just went freaking haywire from there. And I literally didn't even know the total of extent of that until when I was 27. And this is super far ahead, but just to kind of wrap this story up, because then I found out what she had said: forced rape with a handgun. What the f? Now, all the cops said was, sounds like a good time when. They didn't say, they said, you know, well, she had slap marks on her ass and all this and that. And she wasn't sure, and this and that. And the drinking and all this, and I think I was like, no, I didn't drink, no. But, I drank all night. So, holy cow, though. Could that have just ruined my life? Just because, like, some chick was freakier than she wanted to admit to her mom, which, yeah, like, whatever. Oof. So anyway, I guess it was lucky there was two of us, and I guess it was lucky that there was two cops, and they came at the same time, and they separated us and asked us the questions. And so, like, me and dude had no clue that anything, we were like, this is kind of weird that she's not calling back, maybe she's embarrassed, whatever. But then, it was like a couple days later, because just the timing with the way the schedule I was on, like, I'd only work like maybe weekends or something like that. So there was like just this whole time, and that then was like, whoa, I got fired, dude. What do you think, But we never were like, oh, this is all blah, blah, blah. We never even had a conversation. It was just like, this is, and it, we kind of thought it must be her, but we really didn't, we didn't really think anything to that level. Nothing to where we would have had like some inclination to kind of like get a story down or anything like that. Like that, it was just all like, oh, whoa, please, what? Holy. So, yeah, super unfortunate. And honestly, that kind of like, I was like, I think it was like a year and a half after that I even ever got laid again. And then it was totally a like lame. But it kind of like, it kind of scared me. Like, Jesus. The cops came and asked me, like, I didn't even know about the fully extent, but I knew that there was, some kind of with the cops. And I think, had already had a run-in with the cops.